What's up, awakened people? I'm coming at you with your weekly Hulkout radio smash. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about healing and healing processes within spirituality. We're going to have a interview with Tyler from Las Plagas Recordings up in Texarkana. And like always, we're going to be listening to a little bit of trap, a little bit of rap, a little hip hop, a little metal. We're going to kind of mix all of that up and give us a really cool time. So without further ado, let's come at you with a little bit of T9 on Hulkout.
You can be my Gina, I can be your Martin. I can make a point, but I don't need a target. I'm gon' rock the baby to sleep, pull up James Harden. I'm not a lefty shooter, I'm a different artist. I'm gon' be Barack, you gon' be Michelle. Having fun just talking, we gon' rule the world. I know you're not a star yet, but I wish you well. And I'm gon' keep that secret that you never tell. Hey, I just wanna let you know that you be on my mind. Deep inside my thoughts to other women, I am blind. You shine like the sun, you're the trophy in my shrine. We both got mixed emotion, that's how we are in a bind. I wanna let you know, I wanna let you know. This ain't a green light, don't gotta let you go. Gave you everything and never told you no. And when you tell me no, that's when it hurts the most. And when that low drop, babe, you know I'm on the road. You can hear my phone, babe, you know that I'm coming home. I ain't really tripping about what niggas be on. I keep that fire on me, so please don't play me wrong. And when that bag drop, you know a nigga get it gone. All that talking like he bout it, boy, I hit him in his dome. Ain't no back shots when I'm getting to the road. I just need the back end when a nigga hit the door. I just wanna let you know that you be on my mind. Deep inside my thoughts to other women, I am blind. You shine like the sun, you're the trophy in my shrine. We both got mixed emotion, that's how we are in a bind. I wanna let you know, I wanna let you know. This ain't a green light, don't gotta let you go. Gave you everything and never told you no. And when you tell me no, that's when it hurts the most. I just wanna let you know that you be on my mind. Deep inside my thoughts to other women, I am blind. You shine like the sun, you're the trophy in my shrine. We both got mixed emotion, that's how we are in a bind.
Hell yeah, let's go ahead and get us a little venting time with OG Wally and Northside Teasy. Let's get it. Hulkout.
They supposed to been real, I thought they was real. I let down my shield and I let them get in. I know I'm solid, but can't expect it from everybody. Don't know who riding, they got your back, all I can say is probably. It's all love, but it's fake, it ain't no loyalty. A wicked world, I gotta watch the ones that's close to me. Now that's my partner, he went cross me, shit, that's what I thought. Just like a dirty cop, my partner knew he broke the law. Never think about doing my niggas dirty, cause we come out that dirt. Slime with my niggas, I got they back just like a sweaty shirt. Rolling up this herb to calm my nerves, shit, my temper bad. But when I get mad, I chase a bag, shit, I want some cash. Got a boy to feed, he got wants and needs. Family business on the way, right now I'm moving trees. No X, just a scale in the glizz. Gotta watch these roguish niggas, man, this shit here got my cuz pop. Niggas hate cause I pop like smoke, I'm hot like Takis. I'm just living doing me, niggas, so hot that's your problem. All these bitches in this world, you niggas worry about Wiley. All these bitches in this world, you niggas worry about Wiley. Hold up, listen, man, I was in the kitchen, man. My nigga worked this magic when he quit that shit like chicken, man. Just chill, wait your turn, your time coming, that's what I tell myself. In the meantime, I just keep grinding and prepare myself. Wasn't privileged wealth, I had to get it by myself. All my big dogs gone, I'm the last one on the shelf. No casket, but I'm fresh to death. Exclusive when I step out. Steppers all around me, you get shoe prints on your neck and mouth. Yeah, we come from the south where they was locked down in chains. Now we untamed, got them scared, we bringing pain. They wanna be famous, image, do whatever for an image. I'm just trying to stack this lettuce up and mind my business. My little bitch gon' hold me down, she handle business like a boss. And I get her what she want, it don't matter what the cost. I took a lot of losses, but I ball until I win again. I pray to the Lord, and I'm knowing that I'm gon' sin again. But he gon' listen again, he know I'm in it, that's why I'm repenting. And I work on myself, trying to prevent these inner demons from releasing. I just want peace. These people ain't peaceful, they evil. These people, they selfish, they don't want you till they need you. Most niggas, they gon' bleed you. Stab you in the back, you thought they had, yeah, they pretended. I don't beg for support, is you with me or you ain't? My little boy believe in me, so it don't matter what you think. I walk to the bank and I deposit this bankroll. Shout out to my nigga, y'all don't know, just know he keep me loaded. And this thing loaded, case a nigga try to approach me. And I'ma toast him, then toast to it. OG.
No side teasing.
Long way empire.
I did. Real life true story, my nigga.
Flavor gang.
Ain't no cap in my route, nigga.
At all.
Then I vent one time.
Talk to him, cuz.
I can't sleep late at night, man, it's 2:54. Got my mama on my mind, devil knocking in my door. And I know it's no joke, it's just that life that I live. Cause I hope that I'ma make it through this life that I live for real. Head gone like I'm lost in the days. And since my mama left the world, it's like I'm lost in the maze. And these niggas knew I lost it when I cut off the braid. All black with a ski mask, high in my fade. And everybody wanna say, but he only 28. But I feel like Boosie Boo because I had me a dream. And nah, nigga, the dream wasn't like Dr. King. Cause in that dream that I had, I was dodging them beans. I'm talking goons was after me, man, ready to murk. And then they called me by the park and laid me down in the dirt. 6 holes in my chest and blood on my shirt. But you wanna know what's funny? I was ready to go, you know? That's why I said that something ain't right. You kept me sleeping without the heat, I penetrate with a knife. This how I am for the rest of my life. Cause I done been through all the pain and the struggle and strife. They say I'm a chill for my age, but I'm on another level. Got a good heart, but a mind of a devil. So I give it what I got till I ain't got nothing left. Never scared in these streets, cause nigga, I met death. Seen this, seen that, done this and done that. That's when my cuz came in, like, where the gun at? So I reached up under the mattress and grabbed it. I knew it was drastic, hopped up like a rabbit. Nina Ross wreaking havoc. It's over, I told you. How you think you colder than this Sugar Town soldier? Young buck like a boulder, knock your head off your shoulders. Fuck all the feelings, let the millie be the chauffeur. You did that, and I split your damn weed back. So gon' try to get buck and get popped like a Tic Tac. Flow good, yeah, they taste it like a Kit Kat, but motherfuck that chit chat. TZ ain't with that. Wishing for the shit I never had, but I was dreaming. Thinking about the better days, but it was only seeming. Shit was getting worse, that's when they said my mama leaving. Now I got no feelings, my only feeling is grieving. Tell me what would you do if you was in my situation with your mind on no mission, but everybody trying to take it. The shit I've been through, more people wouldn't believe it. Seen niggas hit with the yappers for no reason. And these cats swear they did it and they done it, but I done seen it. People saying I'm 28 with a mind of a demon. Wishing for the shit I never had. Feeling mad and kinda sad cause I never had my dad.
Yeah, so both these cats just woke up one morning and said, let's just start spitting real shit, bucko. Let's go and do that. Yo, that shit was hot, man. That's venting. OG, Wally, Northside teasing. Next up, I'm coming at you with a little bit of Hulk and Devin Deshawn, man. Give it a listen. It's called Need to Do. So tell me what I need to do. What I need to do. What I need to do. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. How can I say what I think, what I feel? I'll formulate the words so they appeal. I'll try to break through all your trauma, fighting the friends cause they cause drama. How can it be just us two when my plus one is your plus who? How does it seem I'm the fool when I got smokes when you come through? What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm swiping red, so don't call me boo. Fuck Elmar, he can keep the glue. Need a shoe, well here go two. I'm closing the door, I call you a Uber. I'ma hit the line and pull a two for one for the club, one for the club. Let's double it up, double it up. Don't give a fuck, don't give a fuck. I'm too fucked up. Lean had me going, call the chauffeur. Rubber bands around the green. You on a heifer like a heifer when I show them. And let me go on, shut the door, call the closure. Overreact over the fact I'ma split while you get splat under the rug. Sweep it up, obviously you've had enough. Playing these games, you acting tough. Well fuck out my face, you can't call this love.
Tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to do. Don't tell me what I need to do. what I'm supposed to do.
Don't tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to do. Don't tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to do.
These niggas be capping, these niggas just rapping, these niggas don't do what they say, they be acting through bad. Me and X on the gas, having crashing, the pussy was wet, so I put it to action. I'm wearing it out till it go out of fashion. I'm wearing it out like I was an assassin. You scared about I let her wrong thing. I'm wearing it out like she ain't got no back. I'm wearing it out like she ain't got no back. I'm wearing it out like she ain't got no back.
Don't tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to do. Don't tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to do. I said it was Hulk, myself, and Devin Deshawn. Devin Deshawn's got a lot going on, man. Vitro Pro Co-op in Little Rock. Dude's an entrepreneur for real. And next we're gonna come at you with another Little Rock cat. Yeah, that's Jesus Montana, son. Flame on, Hulkout.
They say they want it with me.
Lyric, light it up.
If a nigga really got a problem right now, we'll pull up with them cutters, make a motherfucker bleed. Fuck a out bitch till it hurt, till it squirts. Send her back to the crib, pigeon toe, knock knee. No subliminal criminal, I'm a nigga with chemicals that'll pour him in the car for your lead. Put him in the back of the back, time up to the mat. Don't forget to bring the magic gasoline. Set that bitch on fire, on fire. I got that sack, I got that fire, that fire. Bitch, I was broke till I got tired, so tired. And you gon' make me start a fire. You gon' make me start a fire, bitch. Call it what you want, call it what you will. One false move, hit him with the steel. Nigga knocked his own grandpa off. Fucked up thing, he wasn't in the wheel. I don't trust these niggas, cuz. Call them niggas up, let them know I'm here. Paranoid than a motherfucker, clutching on his 40 while I'm looking at the real. Fuck them niggas, we gon' make them disappear. Mama disappointed, she ain't wanna hear it. Sitting in the cell, finally made bail. What should I prevail? Finna cause hell. Didn't mean for y'all to shit on y'all self. Ballin' like a fucking Cleveland Cavalier. Toss him down and wish him well and wish him well. Set the bitch on fire, on fire. I got that sack, I got that fire, that fire. Bitch, I was broke till I got tired, so tired. And you gon' make me start a fire. Fire, on fire. I got that sack, I got that fire, that fire. Bitch, I was broke till I got tired, so tired. And you gon' make me start a fire. You gon' make me start a fire. Nah.
Yo, my dude, Jesus always spitting that fire, man. Like he's one of the guys to look up to in the game, man. You know what I'm saying? He's steadily building momentum, doing big things, man. It's incredible. And next up, we got a Void Star out of New Mexico with a little metal mix, and this is called Ketcho. Hulkout. Man, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when they were conceptualizing this song and building it. I mean, the energy from this is just epic. I've rarely heard anything come out, with this capacity, man. That's epic. I'm a big fan of the samurai. I'm a big fan of like Japanese and Chinese and like Oriental Asian culture. So stuff like this is just super appealing to me. I love it. I can't get enough of it. But enough about me. Next, we're going on to Break the World, Embrace the Fall. They just released a single. Look it up. What's up, people? We're here with Tyler, and he's with Las Plagas Recordings, and we're going to talk to him a little bit today about what he's got going on. I know that he's an entrepreneur into audio engineering, He's a producer, and he's also an artist, a musician. So we're going to talk to Tyler and see, kind of what he's got going on up towards Texarkana area. Tyler?
What's up, guys?
Another beautiful day, man. Beautiful day.
Oh yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about what you've got going on with Las Plagas.
So I started this as like a home studio venture about 3 years ago, and really just learning how to properly mix and produce records. And it's gotten to a point now. I am able to work out of a studio here in Texarkana. I'm located out of Texarkana, Texas. But the studio here is called Smart Studios. And, I mean, there have been Grammy award-winning artists come through there and stuff. So it's a big deal for me, especially, to be able to work out of there. And that's what I'm mainly trying to do now. And as you said, I am a musician. I have a solo project called Solby. And mainly, it's weird, because I don't plan on selling records. It's more or less like if somebody asks me, well, what can you do? I can send them that.
Right. And it's wonderful, man, knowing that somebody that's pretty much self-taught, is climbing to these heights in this industry, man. It's a beautiful thing to see, that you don't necessarily have to go to school, and you don't necessarily have to spend thousands of dollars to be able to learn this craft, right?
Not at all. I think on my entire home studio, and this is including acoustic treatment, my computer, and everything else, and plugins, I think I've spent maybe $1,000.
Right, and that's
and
phenomenal.
The rest of it's just been time.
That's the big part right there, time.
Lots and lots of time.
Lots of time, lots of mistakes, lots of errors, all of those things kind of build to the point where you're getting it right, and you're doing it successfully each time. And if I'm correct, after all this time that you spent, now you're open to the option of actually recording other bands, and that's kind of what you're gearing towards, correct?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us anything about your availability, your rates, what you've got?
So my availability at the moment, Smart Studios is open 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday, I believe. And I have a reduced rate to work through them. And so hourly rates to pay for the rental of the studio space and my hourly rate together, it's a total of $60 an hour.
Wow, that is incredible. Some studios you go to charge upwards of $150 to $200 an hour. So if you're local or anywhere close to Texarkana, Arkansas, Texas, really jump on that, because $60 an hour is almost nothing. That's
especially with the gear they use. I mean, they're using legacy equipment. I mean, their main control console is, and I'm totally being a gear nerd here.
That's fun.
their main control console is a vintage Otari Series 52, which are designed by API. They're very, very high-end, level
Yes.
up with, they're up there with SSL and Neve consoles.
And almost indestructible.
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible, man, because one of the first recordings that I did with a band that I was in, True Betrayal, we actually played a show together, if you remember.
Yeah, at the Brick House.
Yeah, down here in Pine Bluff. But one of the first recording sessions that I had was with Chris Avakian towards Benton, and he was using one of those old analog ADEX, and man, the sound that generates is just incredible, man.
Oh yeah, it's analog, vintage analog gear is just it has a musical sonic character that's all its own.
I just love it, man. I love it all. I love nerding out too. Being a producer myself, man. It's incredible how many things that you can kind of chase down the rabbit hole, so to say, like getting into the different type of interfaces and the compressors and all of those old analog tools, and even all the modern DAWs, and how they work and how they correspond towards or are actually geared towards certain styles of music. So like like FL or let's say Garage Band, those types of things are more along the lines for like rap and hip hop, but you can definitely use them dual purpose for almost anything. And then you've got PreSonus, and I think you said that you run PreSonus too. How those are geared towards metal or even country, kind of the instrumental side of things.
See, it's weird you say that. Like, if you go on YouTube and you look up Studio One videos,
Right.
a lot of it is, it's trap music or a lot of like R&B and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of people using Studio One for metal, at least not that I see.
Now, see, the people that I've used Studio One, or I think it's Plus something, but the people that I've seen, especially in my area, are all using it for metal. So I haven't, and most of everybody else is using Mac products and like Logic Pro or Ableton or like GarageBand for all of their hip hop stuff.
I started with GarageBand.
And I like GarageBand. There's nothing wrong with it. I actually just gained access to a Mac Mini to be able to navigate through GarageBand for producing beats and things of that nature.
Nice.
So, the options for guys like us are kind of endless, man, because it takes a passion and a drive. And once you get that, there's no stopping that train.
Absolutely. Like I said, I started with GarageBand. I was lucky enough to go to a high school that they gave every student a MacBook.
And that's incredible. You don't see that often.
Yeah, and so I started on that. Believe it or not, it was like a speech class project my freshman year. They they said just do something that expresses who you are, and of course everyone was using like Photoshop and just kind of making something like that, or they wrote like a short story.
Right.
I went and put the USB mic from the game Rock Band.
Yeah.
I put that on a stack of books in front of my amp, and like old school recorded guitar by miking my cab up, and programmed bass and drums into it. It was just a quick little minute-long thing, and God, thinking that was 9 years ago. Technically, I started working with production about 8 years ago, but I've only been seriously doing it the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's me too, man. It's incredible that you mentioned that Rock Band mic. Me and Joel Davis, I don't know if you know him, but he's a local Arkansas guy, and he's a phenomenal guitarist and an incredible bassist, just all around musician. And me and him did a little project together called Sands, and we wrote this song, and we actually recorded all of the vocal tracks with a Rock Band mic.
Wow.
And believe it or not, it came out pretty incredible.
I could be wrong here, but I know those were a Logitech mic, but I think they used Shure capsules.
I'm sure they did. I'm not 100% on the logistics of, the make of that, but I know that they had to use something pretty high quality.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool to do. So we've got one of your songs here that we're going to be playing right after we get off air. It's called Windmill.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
So, Windmill was a weird thing that I decided to do. I stream on Twitch. My Twitch handle is Gentleman's Gaming, like with DJENT, gent.
Gentleman.
Gentleman's Gaming. But I decided one day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to live stream a little songwriting thing. And I had one single riff that was just a good, 4-bar long riff. And I was like, okay, I'm going to write around this. I'm going to add drums to it, then I'll add bass to it, and then I'll add maybe a drum track next, and yada, yada, yada. And I put that song together in 3 hours, 3.5.
Yeah.
And that live stream is on the Las Plagas Recordings YouTube channel if anyone's interested in checking that out. That song was really like, I want to write the heaviest thing I've ever written. And it's very, very technical, and everyone that's heard it keeps telling me that it reminds them of like old Veil of Maya, and and I'm just like, okay.
It really does. Villa Maya is one of my favorites, man. And as soon as I heard it, I was waiting for the vocals, and it's not saying that I was disappointed by, the actual riffs and the music composition because I loved it. It's incredible. But
Thank you.
you're waiting on that those really dark harmonies to come in, like Vela Maya did, and
Right.
it's incredible, man. Just to even take you to a place like that musically, instrumentally is phenomenal. That's I think one of the reasons we do this music is because we're trying to portray that specific set of emotions or feelings, and to be able to play that and they generate in someone else's mind, it's a wonderful thing.
Definitely. I share a lot of the same mentality as like the band Periphery and anybody that really watches like their videos that they put up and stuff
Mm-hmm.
of just them being them. They
Yep.
talk a lot about when they're writing, and as bad as it sounds, they don't write for the fans.
Yep.
It's and people take that out of context and well they don't care about their fans. It's not that. They write things that they themselves are happy with, and if they're not
Right.
happy with it, then they don't want it.
Right. Man, I've recently put a band together myself, and that was one of the first things that we address is that while we're in here, what our main goal is to have fun.
Yeah.
As when you look at Periphery, speaking of the song Scarlet, the music video to that with all the ketchup and
Yeah,
it's it's fun, man. It's enjoyable.
Like there are a lot of bands that take themselves too seriously.
I think so too, and that's okay to a degree,
Yeah,
But
I mean there is nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, at the other end of that spectrum, there is the Scarlet video where it's a food fight.
right, hot dogs and ketchup, and
The ketchup clan versus the mustard cult.
right, and that's just man, it's so funny. I love them guys. I love listening to Periphery and even your stuff, man. I honestly enjoy your stuff. Even the recordings that you sent me some years ago. I believe it was an entire album that you had compiled and sent to me. I listened to that whole album like 3 times. I think it was, I can't remember exactly how many songs, but it was continuous.
Yeah, because I think that might have been the first EP I did, and that was one of those prime examples of recording where you're good. Can I curse on this?
Yeah,
Okay, that was one of those examples where you're gonna fuck it up 100 times before you get one right.
yes, and most definitely, man. I can't tell you how many things I fucked up. It's just it's part of it. You're gonna do it. And that's what we were talking about earlier. You're gonna make mistakes. You're going to fail. But it's picking yourself up by the bootstraps and finding the courage to persevere and to keep on pushing.
Definitely.
That's where the good stuff comes from. But
It's
Tyler,
like I think being a musician in general, it's kind of you have to have a perfectionist mindset in the sense of like I'm going to keep doing this until I figure it out.
most definitely. I mean, that's the way you win. That's how you get over on the hustle.
Yeah.
Tyler, man, it's been a true pleasure, brother, and we're getting ready to play your song and keep on pushing ourselves. So,
Well, yeah. Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's
Yeah.
been great.
most definitely, man. Anytime, it's a pleasure. I'll get with you later, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right.
You left me here, you left a part of me without a trace. Without a trace, you left me without a trace. I'm alone.
That track right there is called Without a Trace. It was submitted to me by our good friend Joe Williams. Joe's got a lot of stuff going on. He's an incredible musician. He's a local supporter, always willing to help people, man. Look him up, Joe Williams. Like I said, it was Without a Trace. And the story behind that is incredible. And next week's show, I plan on sharing that with you guys. So, but for now, we're going to stay away from the grave with Break the World. Hulkout.
The ones I see
All right, guys, man, that's awesome music today. Awesome music today. Let's all make sure we stay tuned for the spirituality talk and the healing and healing processes coming up soon. But for right now, we're going to come at you with a local Little Rock, Arkansas band, Mortalis. Let's check them out. Man, I can't get enough of that old Thunder of the Gods feel, man. But we're gonna drop it down with a little Spiffy Lives, man. He got some good action last week, man. So we're gonna bring you some more right here on Hulkout.
Spiffy, yeah. I just don't know what I've been through. Almost lost my life, lost it to a night. I don't really hate nobody. Almost lost my life, almost lost my life. Tragic shit, you just learn to forgive and just move on. Almost lost my life, lost it to a knife. If I gotta die, I'd rather die right. Knew I had to fight for my life. Knew I had to run away from the light. Guess I done played the victim. I guess you forgot that I was the victim. Praying to you just to keep me breathing. I won't for my slumber another nigga. To die by the sword is the realest shit. I come back alive just to body it. Wrapped out my body, can't take the spit. I see the light, had the opposite. Yeah. I feel the pressure that's in my system. The watch on my wrist got a diamond miss. I'm feeling depressed, might go pop me a jigger. Down on my luck and my money little. Put some to the struggle that was getting bigger. One wrong move can get you hurt. Two road steps put you in the dirt. The third leg move get you on the shirt. Not ready to leave, I still got a purpose. The language you're speaking is flowing curse. The devil be talking, I heard him Thursday. In the studio watching me slowly. Over here thinking that God was you, the one who chose me. Was you the one who chose me to live? Cause I wonder why I cannot think the same. Switched up my plan, had to go through your game. Went through this pain just to show you my faith. Wake up each morning, I'm feeling the same. Locked a little piece of me inside my brain. You won't even see my pain until I make a change. Till I go out and make that change. I'm finna enter the game. No, I'll be the same, but that is the price that I pay. Yeah, yeah. I almost lost my life, lost it to a knife. If I gotta die, I'd rather die right. Knew I had to fight for my life. Knew I had to run away from the light. Guess I done played the victim. I guess you forgot that I was the victim. Praying to you just to keep me breathing. I won't for my slumber another nigga. To die by the sword is the realest shit. I come back alive just to body it. Wrapped out my body, can't take the spit. I see the light, had the opposite. Yeah. I know some things you niggas don't know. I put that dirty little white on my nose. That little bitch, she was running the show. Yeah. Got me a gun and went to the yo. Big baby, she told me she don't get no fall by no gun. If you gonna put a gun, you better not run. That's half of the shit, the other I don't even remember. Not asking for pity, just letting you niggas know I'm that nigga. Nigga so motherfucking chilly like it is December. Never labeled as a fake on God and you remember. Turning my back on my people who had my best interest. Let go the will for these niggas for what I'm too gifted. The devil had me by the hand, I thought I could be. Made the wrong moves, I turned to a convicted felon. Nigga having dreams, I'm in the haunted cathedral. Young nigga forgot the fact that he grew up a king. I forgot. I'm still gonna set that. I almost lost my life, lost it to a knife. If I gotta die, I'd rather die right. Knew I had to fight for my life. Knew I had to run away from the light. Guess I done played the victim. I guess you forgot that I was the victim. Praying to you just to keep me breathing. I won't for my slumber another nigga. To die by the sword is the realest shit. I come back alive just to body it. Wrapped out my body, can't take the spit. I see the light, had the opposite. Yeah. I feel the pressure that's in my system. The watch on my wrist got a diamond in it. I'm feeling depressed, might go pop me a jig. Down on my luck and my money little. Pushing through the struggle that was getting big.
All right, awakened people, we're here with the Breathin Heathen, and he's going to talk to us a little bit today about his take on the healing processes within spirituality and kind of along the lines of like ancestral techniques, different breathing techniques, et cetera, et cetera. So without further ado, here's Breathin.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. I'm enjoying the day with the family, trying to take it easy. Yourself?
Oh, same thing. I'm in quarantine right now, so I need to sit back and not really do much.
Yeah, so I guess this is that right there also goes hand in hand with the topic today on healing. This coronavirus has just been a nightmare from the start.
hmm Yeah, well, luckily, even though it was my wife who got it, she suffered minor symptoms. And even though I didn't get it, you're not isolating from somebody who does have it. You have to take that time off in quarantine.
Right.
Yeah, and I've had no symptoms, and I haven't gotten it from her. So we both did have our vaccination, I should say that.
I see. I didn't get the vaccination, but my wife did test positive for COVID, and we had to go through the 14-day quarantine ourselves. And I never had any symptoms, but as on her side, she was experiencing a lot of nausea and kind of general fatigue. So it's a scary thing to think about, that something like that could just affect you out of nowhere and diminish either diminish your quality of life, or B, take your life, just kind of depending on your genetic variables.
hmm Yeah, it's true. It's flu on steroids. It's really not anything that you should want to get.
Not at all.
But this time period has been really good for being able to focus on healing, though. And so I'm so glad that you're doing the segment. I'm really grateful about that.
Right.
I think right now, because there is a worldwide health crisis, and everyone's trying to do everything they can, any healing techniques that can help strengthen our immune system are so important to have on our side right now.
I agree. Yeah, I'm honored to have you on the show today talking about the healing processes, because from my understanding, you wrote a book, and it's published, and you're trying to getting ready to release it and push it out. Can you tell us what that entails?
Well, I've been blessed with being able to meet the good folks down at the Awaken Network, and sort of getting with that network of people who are committed to healing and other things, crafting, natural living, herbal remedies, and just some amazing work happening in that network. And so basically they've been helping me a lot ever since I met Jay, kind of get into the system and find the right audience for this book. It's called Owned Breathing Exercises for Health, Vitality, and Creativity, with the subtitle Expand Your Breath, Enrich Your Life.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very upfront and straightforward that I myself do not have a PhD. I'm not a medical doctor.
Right.
The experience that I've had has been going into the element and finding out what vital breathing actually is.
Mm-hmm.
It started in 2008 when I met my first breathing instructor. It was a time that I was very desperate. I had asthma since childhood, and it was really affecting not only my breathing but also my energy levels, my way of participating in life. There were so many things that it was holding me back from doing. And it just got to a point where the doctors had me on a steroid. Take one shot of the steroid in the morning, one at night, and take a rescue inhaler during the day if you can't breathe in. And it was far from living. It was more just sustaining existence, really.
I can imagine just no quality of life.
hmm Yeah, it was tough, but it just got to a point where I kind of resigned, and I couldn't think of anything to do about it except visit specialists, respirologists, general practitioners, and ask them what I should do to improve my breathing. And all of the solutions they came up with were medical. And don't get me wrong, these medical prescriptions did sustain my life, so they were necessary.
Right.
But none of them seemed to know about breathing itself. A respirologist, the medical scientist in charge of knowing everything about breathing, didn't have any breathing exercises for me.
And that just seems so silly, when you think about it.
It's a bit ironic. It's a bit ironic, you know. You would
Yes.
expect, right? But
Right.
so, yeah, I was just walking down the street one day, and completely by chance, I ran into an old family friend who was a yoga instructor, who was about to start a 3.5-month introductory yogic breathing course.
Incredible.
And so I signed up.
And here we are today.
And here we are today. Well, that was more than a decade ago, and
Right.
I didn't know what was going to happen from there. I thought it was just going to take the breathing course and I'd be healed. Of course, it's not that simple.
Right.
I took the breathing course. It was once a week for 3.5 months, out in nature, out in the park.
Mm-hmm.
She had a yoga studio that she had access to, but she wasn't able to always be there, and also she quite preferred to be in the park.
Naturally so.
We just did that out. Yeah.
And for a lot of, just going to say, for a lot of people that don't understand, learning these breathing techniques and going through these breathing exercises, you know, it's not as simple as waking up in the morning and taking your first breath. There's a certain amount of physical conditioning that comes with it, and definitely some obstacles to overcome while learning these breathing techniques and making them natural enough to actually work for you.
Mm-hmm. Completely. Yeah, that really resonates with me. It was a long process to do just the introductory breathing work.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. I was still on my meds. You know, I still had to breathe if I was going to expect to go through. But I learned about new kinds of meds. In a way, you could call them meds. I don't know. For instance, neti pot. If you've ever used saline water through your nostrils to clear out your nostrils.
Uh-huh.
Or there's other harsher forms of neti, like there's a sutra neti where you actually take a sort of a thick string and you clear out your nostrils. Only do that under advisement with a professional.
That just sounds scary, man. I'm not even gonna lie. That does not sound like a good time.
Well, it's interesting because when you go to India and you see the people who've been raised from a very young age, 1 year old, 2 years old, you know, they've been raised with yoga and yogic breathing techniques. It's normal for them, but it's been in their life their whole lives. So, of course, they know how to do it and it feels comfortable. So you get Westerners go out there and they try it for the first time and they're in for a bit of a shock.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I remember, you know, when I started getting into, you know, kind of some Norse shamanic practices and beginning like the Wim Hof breathing techniques and the box breathing and et cetera, man, it was all so surreal to experience the way that these things impact you on a physical level. And it's almost like in the beginning, if I'm remembering correctly, it's like this like spiritual out of body experience. Like you're actually almost on the outside experiencing what your body is experiencing physically. You know, just feeling the thrum of your blood and hearing your heart pound in your chest. It's just, oh man, it's there's nothing like it.
Absolutely, especially if you've gotten into Wim Hof is a very powerful method. He does a very powerful method. He's one of these super athletes, right? Who just got into healing breaths and energy breaths and cold training and yeah, he does some pretty amazing work. Some of it, I would say, stick with his program from the beginning. There are people who've had adverse side effects from some of his practices, but I think it's just because they weren't prepared for them.
Yeah, it's not something that you can just jump into. There's definitely training that needs to be done step by step.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you mentioned box breathing is amazing for the reason that when you start counting your breathing, your inhale, your hold, your exhale, your hold, there are levels of oxygen entering your body that your body may have never felt before.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly enough, you know that old saying, we're not physical beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience.
100%.
you really feel that when you start doing the breathing exercises. It really enhances your presence in that you realize how spiritual you are as a transformative process. I had no idea where owned would lead me, and I would eventually understand it as being owned. When I was in university, prior to some of my more complicated breathing problems, I was studying Old English and Old Norse literature straight up to the completion of my degree. For 2 solid years, I was around professors in philology and Norse studies, and I just couldn't get enough. And interestingly enough, in that literature, there is a lot about physical conditioning and specifically breathing. There's even a scene where Odin and his 2 brothers are walking along the beach. And you know that famous one where they see the 2 trees and they give them ond, or Odin gives them ond, which is this vital breath.
Yep.
And I had no idea what getting ond would feel like, getting a proper breath in your body would do in terms of its transformative capabilities. It was very shortly after my introductory pranayama practice that it seems completely by coincidence I ended up spending the next 4 years of my life traveling around Asia and India, just going everywhere I could to learn about vital breathing. It's interesting to compare East and West, because in the East, you didn't really have maybe as strong a colonial force come through as you did in the West. In the West, of course, we had a period in the medieval times where everything kind of was falling apart after the collapse of the Roman Empire.
Right.
And sort of churches were scrambling to maintain whatever sense of order they possibly could. And there's one author, Anne Barstow, who says within the early modern period, there were possibly up to 1 million people burned as witches for the practices that they were using.
Right.
Whereas in Asia, it doesn't seem like you have that. There are ancestral traditions, animistic traditions, Shinto, and also Buddhist-related traditions that have persevered in the East that capture everything from various forms of martial arts to dance, to song, to breathing. And these breathing practices make an ordinary person feel like a superhuman. Most certainly. When you've immersed yourself completely, when you've gone and done the temple stays throughout Asia, when you've visited the meditation villages, there's a very famous one near Khao San Road in Thailand. When you've gone to the ashrams of India where they still practice these breathing traditions, you learn how incredibly powerful and how incredibly healing they can be. And that forms the basis of what I understand as owned. I feel like it's the breathing practice that you may have felt if you were alive during a certain time in the West, before our traditions were destroyed, before a certain sense of desperation swept over the continent.
Yeah, and it's sad to say, you know, that it's all based on a person's subjective experience and perception of what is. And you have certain people that view these things or categorize them, even shape them in a positive light, so to say, and then the same exact practices performed, you know, by a different culture or a different people, portrayed as like this negative, dark force, and in reality, it's the same thing. And that's why I think it's so imperative to talk about things of this nature, to understand that in reality, spiritually and physically, a lot of them are the same style of practices, just portrayed a little differently.
Absolutely, and a lot of it has to do with what you're saying, portrayal. How we view healing, how we view strengthening our immune systems, how our society is adapted to a certain way of living, and when something jumps out of that way of living, do we acknowledge that as being a good thing, a positive thing? Do we exalt that? Do we say, hey, wow, this healing breathing is incredible stuff? Or do we turn on it and say, hey, that's not accepted mainstream science. That's not something we're going to accept. We're going to push you out.
Right. And I think that's going to, be a bridge to cross at some point where you have to look at something for, am I going to take this in based on like its monetary value, or am I going to take this in on its value relatively with my life and my spirituality and how I feel as a human being, as a person? I want to continue to dump money into like big pharma, or do I want to, place this time and effort into my life and, develop some of these techniques that are essentially free and better myself, heal myself, learn for myself, grow for myself.
Mm. It kind of dawned like this huge catharsis dawned on me, I guess, when Wardruna put out their last single, Leaf Your Berg. I think that was their last single, or maybe a couple singles ago. The Healing Mountain. And in the beginning, it looks like he's doing an amazing, vital breath. Like just bringing the breath in.
Right.
Standing there with the mountains in the backdrop, the water at his feet, just bringing it in. And I think also the creative arts, anybody who has studied singing, anybody who has studied musical technique, anybody who has studied dance knows how important breathing is.
Exactly. And that's even hitting on what you were speaking about earlier, martial arts. Any fighters, whether you're a boxer, a martial artist of any capacity, breathing techniques are absolutely essential to how well you can perform.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tai Chi itself is reminiscent of some of the pre-Taekwondo martial arts forms in the East, but also in Western gyms. The way you learn, or so I've been told. I haven't studied myself, but the way you learn is very deeply connected to your breath and your stance, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. Now, I studied various forms of martial arts through my time in the military and post-military as well. So all of those techniques and breathing and your stance, it's all impacted specifically by your breathing and your endurance. That's why you run 5,000 million miles a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that running in itself is a breathing exercise.
Yes, it is.
One of my good buddies in South Korea when I lived there, he was former American military, had gone into teaching English as a second language, and man, he could rock that treadmill. Holy crap! I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how much training it must take to get it.
Man, it's
but like on the level of breath, wow.
Speaking
like
from a personal stance on that, man, it took quite a while to be able to develop that type of endurance to be able to do that. Because when you step on a treadmill or an elliptical, you see these people coming in that are super fit, and just look like they could run to the moon and back, if that were possible. But they get on like a treadmill or an elliptical or something, and they're off within 5 minutes because they literally just can't take it. So they look fine physically, but in reality, they have absolutely no breath support or any of that. And then you see these other guys who are, ex-military, this and that, and they get on these machines and they can, go 10, 15 miles, and you're looking at them like, oh, how are they doing this? And it's for the simple fact that their breathing is good.
Well, and it's all interconnected too. I spend a lot of ink in this book talking about the relationship between breath and posture.
Mm-hmm.
Breath, posture, and diet are interconnected in terms of performance. When your diet is such and your posture is such and your breath is such, you get this holy trinity, the effect that is created. And I think people think of that piano posture where you're supposed to make yourself uncomfortably rigid. I don't personally think that's necessary. I myself slip into computer posture where I'm all hunchback just while I'm in a writing spree. But the posture that I talk about in the book is the heart lifted posture and its relationship to breathing. If you keep that chest up, and it feels a little silly at first because we seem to have an aversion to appearing so confident when we walk down the street with our chest up towards the sun. But that heart lifted posture, as it's been discussed by tuberculosis societies, as it's been discussed in lots of literature related to breathing, is the perfect posture for breathing. Heart lifted, so you imagine sort of like a chain or a rope connecting your heart to the sun up above you, and you can't go wrong.
That's beautiful. That's the first time I've heard about that, but that is astounding, and I can see the correlation there.
Absolutely, and then for the Trinity, your diet. We're always thinking of our diet in terms of the verb dieting, which I think is a bit of a ripoff. It kind of cheapens the term diet, like.
Yeah.
Some people consider dieting to be starvation, but no. What you put into your body is fuel for your life.
Exactly.
And so the best possible food you can eat, and yes, you are supposed to eat, but eat the good stuff, right? And I think deep down we all know what that is. We all know what good food is.
Oh, of course we do.
We know what it looks like.
And that's there's so many small techniques out there that would better people's lives. I've even heard about like some Japanese customs where if you're at work and you get tired, they would prefer you to take a 15 to 20 minute nap and then get back up and resume your work, because the quality of production is 20 times, 100 times better than what it would be if you're just kind of dragging along miserably. And I think that if we applied that same concept to our life in a healthy way, as in eating, like the better things like fruits and vegetables and nuts and things like that, if we're eating those things intermittently throughout the day, like I know for myself that it makes me feel at least 50% better, than just eating like a regular 3 square meals a day. It doesn't seem like I'm so full, doesn't feel like I'm so dragged down, but yet I'm still sustained.
Oh, absolutely. And listen to your body too, because your body will tell you. I think every body's different, and every body has its own genetic ancestral eating habits. Everybody has its own eating habits based on your own upbringing, and that'll kind of tell you. Your stomach will tell you if it doesn't like what you're putting in it.
Yes, it will.
I remember one huge thing in South Korea, very similar to the Japanese system. Everyone ate together, and you all ate the same thing. And you'd always have that square meal of a good protein, a good carbohydrate, and some foliage, some fresh stuff, every day. Everyone at our school, because I was teaching at a school, everyone ate at the same time, and they all had that square meal.
Yeah, and it's really important. It's really important to slow ourselves down. Society has grown so vast in terms of like multiculturalism, where everything's kind of meshed together, and you've got all these different ideas and these ways of life mixed in with music and art and entertainment and work and kids and this and that and this and that. It's really super important to slow yourself down long enough to, like you said, listen to your body. Listen to your spirit, listen to what you are, because it will tell you exactly what you need. And I've found more often than not in today's societies, that is to just slow down a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And I talk about in my book, and also it's you can watch YouTube videos on about it to set which is exactly that Norse sort of you might even say the modern heathens have taken it on, is that meditation that you go out in nature and you just sit and you breathe. And Ond is great for that. The vital breath is great for those times that you can just sit out in nature. You can take a deep breath, you can slow yourself down, and you can look at everything in front of you as it runs its natural course. And the inspiration that provides, the health that provides, and the connection that gives you to your true spiritual self is astounding.
It's unparalleled. And I can say that from a personal stance because that's something that I do. And it's commonly referred to from the circles that I run in as grounding. It's grounding yourself, finding your center, breathing, integrating yourself into nature as you're supposed to be anyways. So
beautiful.
But
that's beautiful. So
is there a possibility that we could get you to maybe walk us through vocally a basic or beginner level breathing exercise or meditation from OM?
Absolutely. How about I start out at the start? This will be something I think that you can relate with yourself.
Okay.
Because it talks about the box breath that you mentioned before.
Nice.
Okay. This is in the introduction to OND, breathing exercises for health, vitality, and creativity. Azlidarala, Bahala Vidar, Manirotum Vindaskal, Manirotum Betaskal. To all the gods and the wise of Valhalla, strongly shall your roots be wound, strongly shall your roots be woven. Get comfortable and breathe a square breath. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold in equal measure. As you breathe, take note of your physical surroundings. The sounds, smells, furniture, details of your current reality. Relax deeply and let your eyes slowly close. As you breathe, let the physical world around you vanish and find yourself being transported to another place. You sit on a log by a crackling fire. You've climbed up to this forested mountaintop, and you now rest beneath a limitless white sky filled with gently falling snow. You're protected from the cold by a garment of unimaginable warmth. This warmth fills your body, and your mind is filled with warm thoughts. The beauty of the frozen landscape before you feels comforting. Watch your breath produce a steady stream of steam in front of your eyes as you inhale and exhale steadily. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. And continue. Visualize yourself walking out alone in your natural paradise as the northern goddess Skavi did to escape the hustle and bustle of the coastline's busy ports. Just as her snowy mountain home was her favorite solitary environment, you too feel at ease in this place in your inner realm. There you are, connected with the animals that roam your enclosed space. You are free from worry, fear, and anxiety. Time is frozen. The passage of time ceases to exist, and there are no expectations placed upon you from the outside world. This is the perfect place to clearly view the path in life you wish to take, without feeling attached to any outcome. Here you are simply a witness to the goings-on of the natural, human, and spirit realms. You see life and reality unfolding as it must, and you see your place in all of it from a giant's eye view. From this perspective, you see the history of the world flitting by in a matter of seconds. Entire epochs of frigid ice and drought-triggering dryness pass quickly, and entire civilizations rise and fall right before your eyes. What you see before you seems unimportant, but actually it is of the utmost importance. What you see before your eyes is this: everything that has ever happened on Earth or Midgard, from the first spark of life to the present moment and beyond. Skathi, a great goddess of this land, approaches from her own land of ice and snow and sits beside you to feel the gentle, sweet-smelling breeze that gently encircles you. You both possess the same cool stillness, an appreciation of the magic of the moment you have the privilege to share. No words need be spoken, for you can communicate with thoughts, gestures, and intents. You share a telepathic connection. Soon you see the reason this great stretching land, these dales, hills, fjords, and peaks are named after her. She is the land, and the land is she. In stillness and solitude, we survive. Survival is love, thriving here is ecstasy. In the deepest snowdrift, there still lives the chemistry of the blooming spring bud. In the coldest heart, you can still find the most resplendent fire. Speak with Skathi now, as snow spirals in small flurries around you. Speak with her and discover her radiant core. She has a deep and arcane knowledge of this land around you, an understanding of its precious secrets. Ask her what the world has planned for you next. Hear her reply with your heart.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of that.
That's a setup for the feeling of Utaseta. I just, yeah.
That is absolutely beautiful.
You can kind of picture Skathi in your mind, eh?
Yeah. I can't wait to actually go back and listen to this and actually join in on the exercise for myself. That's beautiful, man. The way that, I've heard several speakers, talk about breathing and the different techniques and kind of, the guided meditations through them. And yours happens to be one of my favorite now.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Definitely. And I really appreciate having you on the show today. Is there anything that you would like to say in closing?
Just that breathing is a journey, and it's something that's close to all of us. No one's really better at it than anyone else. So it's definitely something that is yours. And so everybody listening to this, I wish you all the best in your breathing journey.
Thank you, Breathing. That means a lot, man. I know that they're going to enjoy it, brother.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me on your show. I appreciate it, Paul.
Most definitely.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, brother. You take care.
Okay. Bye.
So in light of that beautiful segment there with Breathin' Heathen, I think what we're going to do now is play that Ward Runin song, Lift Your Boat. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side, man. Hulkout.